advice and opinions expressed during the program are solely that of Apache Stainless and Specialty Cheese Company, not WBEV or Good Karma Brands.
And welcome into Taking Care of Business. I am Justin the Ninja Wilski here today, and I get the honor of continuing our spotlight on local manufacturing with partnership of the Beaver Dam Chamber of Commerce. Today I'm sitting down with Pam Korth with Apache Stainless. And Pam, we're going to start off with a really easy question for you today. Tell me what you do at Apache.
Sure. I am the Human Resource Director at Apache Stainless.
That's awesome. And give me a little bit of background on Apache. How long has the company been here in Beaver Dam? What do you guys do over there?
Sure. So we've been in business since 1975. Started out manufacturing equipment for the food processing industries. The owner of Apache, Dwayne Folks, started Apache Stainless back in 1975. Prior to Apache, he had worked at Kraft Foods. So saw a need for a local manufacturer, started the business, and we've continued to evolve over time. So we now, fast forward, are 100% employee owned. So Dwayne had sold the business in 2007 and gave us all the best gift of all of the employee ownership. So 100% employee owned, now manufacturing equipment for the chemical, pharmaceutical, and food processing industries. Interestingly enough, right now we're doing a lot in the pet food industry.
Interesting.
Yeah, everybody loves their pets, including me. I've got my two little Yorkies, so wet pet food and the chemical and pharmaceutical side. So we've done projects for Project Warp Speed for the COVID vaccine, mouthwash, so lots of different things. So as you drive by Apache, you may have seen some of the large tanks out front. Manufacture both the large tanks and small tanks, and then that food processing equipment under the Mepaco brand.
So 1975, so that's a decent amount of time that Apache's been around and in the community. Are you guys just located here in Beaver Dam? Do you guys have other satellite locations?
Sure. So we, Apache Stainless is in Beaver Dam, but we're part of a holding company located in Fairfield, Iowa. So Apache has just under 200 employees, and Employee-Owned Brands, which is the company that owns Apache, has just under 1,200. So we have locations in Wisconsin, Iowa, and Kansas.
Now, we talked a little bit about the products that are made there at Apache, and I know from personal experience, having both my father and my uncle having worked there, and both have retired from there since, that there's a wide variety of jobs available there at the facility.
Yes.
It's not just, you're a welder who welds stainless steel.
Right.
Can you tell me more about what's out there and what's available?
Sure. So we do actually hire a lot of skilled tradespeople, and we're so proud of our welders. They do fantastic work, and there's a lot of variety in what they do. So as I talked about earlier, so we're manufacturing different pieces of equipment. So as a welder, you're actually fabricating that. But if we start at the beginning, we'll hire salespeople. We have estimators, people, of course, in HR, finance, engineers. We employ mechanical, electrical, manufacturing, engineers. We've got opportunities within the shop, machining, so machinists, fabricators, metal finishers, shipping and receiving, so purchasing. When you think about a company from a manufacturing perspective, I think a lot of people really go toward that plant, that skilled trades. And we absolutely are so thankful for our skilled trades workforce, but we also have to have kind of the behind the scenes side of that too. So employing those sales folks and the engineers and others, as I had mentioned. So
now, a lot of people think of manufacturing, especially when it's a place that has things like welding happening.
Sure. A
lot of times the first thought is, okay, that means people are going to be very dirty and grimy and grungy or whatever, but you guys are working with stuff that's related to pharmaceuticals, chemicals, materials and food.
Yeah.
So I imagine your facility is a little bit different.
Yeah, it's interesting. So October is Manufacturing Month, and it's also Employee Stock Ownership Month. But generally, we have individuals tour our facilities, and it's so gratifying to hear people come in and say, "Wow, I was really thinking that this was going to be dark and dingy, and it's bright and it's clean." We do a lot of TIG welding, and most everything we do is on stainless, so it's very clean within our plant.
How are you set now for employees? Are you guys hiring? Are you always looking? How's your staffing?
Yeah. So we have really low turnover. We're really blessed with such a great workforce, but we're always looking for great talent. And you can go to our website, www.apachestainless.com/careers, and check out the opportunities that we have available for sure.
Do you guys do any outreach with the school districts, the local colleges, tech schools, anything like that to help you recruit?
Absolutely. So another part of what I've partnered with the Manufacturing Business Alliance is kind of a group of people under the Beaver Dam Chamber. Shout out to Tracy and Nate for helping us with this cause. So we are really trying to create awareness in our communities of all of the great opportunities that are available in manufacturing. So we do open our doors to tours for high school kids. We will partner with anyone that wants to come in and hear the great things that we've got going on. We will travel to the schools and talk about manufacturing, and so the high schools, local tech colleges, lots of ways in which we want to network together to get that word out.
I know nowadays I hear more and more about how finding people in those skilled trades is becoming harder and harder. Mm-hmm. People aren't necessarily seeing it as an option. Everybody's talking, you got to go get a 2-year degree, 4-year degree, whatever.
Yeah.
Whereas getting that hands-on training is not quite the same.
Yeah.
Are you guys finding that that's impacting your ability to find people?
So this is really interesting for me. So we have a lot of youth apprentices. So the youth apprentice program is where kids that are juniors and seniors can come into our facility and work, and we've done that on the skilled trade side right now. And there's really been an uptick in individuals interested in skilled trades, and I am finding that so exciting. And as as the research and the things that we're looking at, people don't want to have, they want to follow their passion first, right? So if you want to work with your hands, what better way to do that than within a manufacturing environment? And they don't want the debt that goes along with that. And we have a lot of opportunities where you can, start out as a youth apprentice and then come on board as a regular full-time employee, go to Moraine Park and get that 1-year certification or a 2-year certification. And or if you're interested in going to, a 4-year and getting an engineering degree, we have those options too. But manufacturing is so interesting, and it requires, you really get to use your brain, and you're collaborating with other people, and it's really whatever you want it to be. But the really cool thing for us is that there is a lot more energy and interest in manufacturing at the high school level. And I have a great story of one of our youth apprentices. I said, "Hey, do you know anyone that's interested in a youth apprentice opportunity?" And 2 days later, he came back and he said, I don't want just anyone to come to Apache. Right. We need to have someone that's actually going to do the work. And it was just amazing to hear that story. And, now that's continuing to grow from there. So that individual kind of set the bar for us. Right. And, we've got a waiting list of individuals. We can only take so many youth apprentices, right. But it's a great way to create that awareness and give those kids that really don't know what they want to do that hands-on learning, and they're getting paid for it too.
That is really awesome. And I think having a waiting list of people who want to be apprentices is a good problem to have.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Talk to me about the kind of benefits that are available. You guys obviously are employee owned.
Yeah.
So if you can also talk to what that means.
Sure. So that really is our largest benefit and kind of speaks to the culture of who we are, too. So we're 100% employee owned, and that means that all of our employees, everything that we do each and every day can affect our share value. So the harder we work, that comes back to you in the form of shares, for your retirement. But it really has been life-changing for a lot of our employees, for sure. And then we also offer medical, dental, vision, life, short and long-term disability, educational reimbursement. We've got a pretty robust paid time off policy. We also offer volunteer time, so if an individual wants to take some time off and work with a nonprofit, we allow them to do that during working hours. So there's, we really we want to try to find that balance, as much as we can. We work hard, a lot of hours. Our employees are such dedicated individuals. Such a shout out to all those Apache employees that are listening. We really, really appreciate all the work that they do and try to provide the benefits that can help them, take a little stress off of them.
Right. Now, of course, with any career, whether it be in manufacturing or otherwise, there's always that feeling of fulfillment when you find that you have progression in your career.
Yeah.
Is there career progression opportunities if you start off as, let's say, just a grind man or something there?
Yeah, for sure. I've got a great story, actually. So we have a youth apprentice that started with us many years ago, and he is now a business unit manager within our company. So he kind of progressed through our organization and now leads a whole, department of people. Another of our welders is in sales. We have individuals going from metal finishing to welding, out in our plant. So, and even within each of the skill levels, there's opportunities to continue to grow within that current skill set. So yes, we're continually looking at ways in which they can grow and get compensated for that too.
Now, obviously, in the Dodge County area and the greater surrounding South Central Wisconsin area, there is a lot of manufacturing facilities, a lot of options out there. What sets Apache apart from some of them?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, first of all, I think that manufacturing is really where it's at. And, the collaboration that we have with the Manufacturing Business Alliance has given me an opportunity to go to a lot of different plants, and they're all spectacular. I think for me, what sets Apache apart is our culture, the people, for me, and then the variety second, and then our employee stock ownership, that philosophy of the harder you work, and then it coming back to you. So that's really, and that's really what people are saying to me too. They're staying because of the culture of who we are, the people. And I've had individuals come on, and then 2 weeks later, they're like, wow, everyone is smiling, and, they're so helpful, and, I guess we're all in this together. And then that variety of being able to do something different, because we are an engineer-to-order manufacturing company, there is a lot of variety in the work that we do.
Now, obviously, starting at 1975, you mentioned that you started with one side of the welding and the stainless steel manufacturing, and now you've progressed into the chemical and the animal and all. What's next? What's next for Apache? Do you guys have something on the horizon?
We do, yeah. So we just recently finished what we call a test kitchen, so that will allow our clients to come in and to test some of the equipment, or even from an R&D perspective. We're also looking at, so as an engineer-to-order manufacturing company, automation gets a little bit tricky because there's so much variety, but we're really looking at automation and what we can do from that perspective. And then lastly, the sustainable aviation fuels are really something that we're targeting. I was just looking on Southwest Air's website, and I believe by 2030, their, I don't know, X amount of their fuels are going to be that sustainable aviation fuels. And so we want to be a part of that, to manufacture equipment that will hold that. So,
Are there any unique challenges that Apache might face as a manufacturer, or any challenges in general that you see?
yeah, I think that, like clearly the people is a big deal for us, finding that talent. And I am very, very hopeful, though. I mean, like, there really is a lot of interest in manufacturing. And I think that people are seeing, like the really cool things that you can do here. But that's always, an area that, gives me a little bit gray hair.
A fun question I always like to ask for people, especially ones who work kind of removed from the manufacturing process, because you talk about you being more on the HR side of things. If you could do any one of the jobs that are there that outside of HR that you might think is fun, that you want to give a try to, are there any of them that stand out to you?
So I have since I've been with the company for quite some time, and I've said that I want to learn how to weld. So now we're putting this out there. I don't know how it's going to go, but I just think it would be really, really interesting to learn how to weld. And one of the plant supervisors actually has kind of a helmet waiting for me. So if he's listening, I guess I'm going to have to put that on and see what I can do. But I think that they're such great craftspeople, and they can just do amazing work. And if I could try to figure out, just a little bit of that, I think it would be really interesting.
That's awesome. Well, like I said, I had two family members myself who went through and worked there at Apache and really, really enjoyed it. One who traveled all the way from, not that far away, but Doylestown all the way in.
Yeah.
One who lives here in town. And they were definitely big fans of working over there and enjoyed their career.
That's
so
great.
I'm very happy to say that. Let's remind everybody how they can get in contact with you. One, if they're interested in seeing what Apache has to offer, or if they're interested in maybe getting their high school student on the youth apprenticeship program, or if they just want more information in general.
Yeah, so I have partnered with a lot of the high schools. So if you're a high school student looking for a youth apprentice opportunity, they should work with their tech ed teacher. We do also have online, it's a welder trainee opportunity. That would be that youth apprentice opportunity. You can reach out through our careers page, again, the www.apachestainless.com/careers. And I also would encourage you to take a look around and see some of the things that we do. Our website is pretty inclusive and gives you a great idea of what we do. And then, of course, you can call 920-356-9900 and ask for Pam if you have any specific questions.
Perfect. Last but not least, as we get ready to wind down our little segment here, give me your 2-minute elevator pitch for somebody who maybe is looking for a manufacturing position. Why should they consider Apache?
Yeah, so, again, if you're looking to work for a company that really does value their employees, we work really, really hard to bring individuals on that fit within the culture of our business, but we give that all back to you in everything that we do. So culture is huge for us, and the variety of work is really important for me, and I know it is for a lot of people too. You're working all day long. You want to make sure that you're engaged and collaborating and, continually improving. Those are things that, some of our core values. And the employee stock ownership, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that as well.
Wonderful. Well, I thank you for taking the time to come in and talk to us today and outlining everything Apache Stainless has got to offer. Again, right here in Beaver Dam, so right in our backyard here for the radio station. Matter of fact, if I hit a golf ball hard enough, I could probably hit the building from here.
You probably could.
So not too far away. But yeah, definitely want to thank you for taking the time. We are going to continue our spotlight on manufacturing. Next up, we will have Specialty Cheese Company after a very brief break as we continue our spotlight for Manufacturing Month here in October on 95.3 WBEV and Daily Dodge TV. And welcome back into Taking Care of Business. I am again Justin the Ninja Wilski here, and we are continuing our spotlight on local manufacturers for Manufacturing Month here in the month of October. And this time around, we're going to talk with some representatives from a specialty cheese company. I have with me Jeannie Korth, want to make sure I got that right, and Patty Sanchez Walker. How are you doing today, ladies?
Good.
So you guys are here representing, first and foremost, I love your logo. I've got it up on the screen. I love the cow. I think that's great. You guys are here representing Specialty Cheese Company, and you guys have two very different roles at the company.
Correct.
Go ahead and introduce yourselves. Talk a little bit about what you do there.
All right, so I can go first. So I'm Patty Sanchez Walker, and I'm the HR manager at Specialty Cheese. So I do anything HR related in the company.
And I'm Jeannie Korth, and I'm customer service manager. I've been there, will be 41 years, so yes, it's a long time. I know a little bit about cheese. Started off as a jack of all trades. When they hired me, I ran their first computer system for the previous owner, and now I'm customer service. I take care of all different kinds of customers. Talk to freight carriers. I always tell the boss, he signs my paycheck. I don't work for him. I work for the customer. So.
Wonderful. Now, 41 years there. How many years for you?
4 next month.
4. Okay,
So I'm a rookie compared to her.
quite a difference, but that tells me longevity is definitely an option there at Specialty Cheese. Let's start by talking about what is probably going to be my favorite part of the conversation. Let's talk a little bit about cheese.
Okay.
So when we hear Specialty Cheese, that doesn't tell me what kind of cheeses you guys make. Doesn't tell me where I can buy your cheese necessarily. Give me some info on that.
So we make mostly ethnic cheeses. So we are anything from, think of anything, eating cheese around the world.
Mm-hmm.
Cheese is made in Reeseville, Wisconsin. If you're Polish, if you're Russian, if you're Hispanic, if you're Cuban, if you're Venezuelan, if you're Indian, if you're Middle Eastern, we make all of that, plus add a few more.
Okay.
We make some usuals, we make some Munster, we make some brick-type products, but our biggest things are for the ethnic population, which in the United States is very growing. It's a big,
Right.
big population. The biggest growth that we see is in the Indian food. Our biggest item that we manufacture is paneer. Paneer is a cheese that is made without a culture. It's just acid and milk and no salt. So the average person will think, oh, yuck.
Right.
But you, as a connoisseur of food, as I know from
Oh,
listening
yes.
to the radio,
You know me well.
Paneer in dishes is the Indians typically add a lot of spices to their dishes and curries and whatnot. So they don't want anything in there. They're going to add their own, so it doesn't matter. So that is their protein. Many Indians are vegetarians, so this is their protein. We sell this cheese throughout the United States, all around the United States, by the truckload.
Wow.
By the truckload. And we are the world champion. In 2018, we are the world champion for the paneer cheese. We still hold that title.
That is awesome. I'm actually a huge fan of Indian food. One of the foods that we like to eat a lot of times is called panak paneer. So I know the word,
Yes.
which is awesome.
Yep.
And I know in the dish it tastes good. I don't know. I've never tried it by itself.
Right.
So that's awesome.
There can really be nothing wrong with it. It's such a clean cheese that if there was something wrong with it, we would taste it because there's nothing there to mask it.
Okay.
Nothing at all.
That's awesome. Because you've been there for a while, has it always been those kind of cheeses? Have you guys ever delved into the classic cheddar and Colby that everybody knows?
So when I started back in 1983, that was the Heim Cheese Company at that time. We did the brick and the Munster. We sold truckloads of brick and Munster to the East Coast. That was our big claim to fame. But at that point, during that time, we had the 5 corner cheese factories, whatever. We got cheese in from 3 other cheese factories around the county. And we had people all over the place. Just came into the Lowell area there. That's where we were in Lowell. And we shipped it all, packaged it there, shipped it out of there. We have stories, of course, of how things used to be loaded into trucks and whatnot.
Right.
It's hilarious, I must say. But then in 1991, the current owner bought the company. We were making queso blanco at the time, and that was why one of the big draws for him is because Hispanic cheese in the United States was really growing. The population is growing. So that was the first one. That was his big goal. So when he came in, we started with Hispanic, went to Middle Eastern, paneer, and we've just grown from there. We are not the no people, we are the yes people. Doesn't always make our cheesemakers the most happy.
Right.
Because they always say, Paul, Jeannie, David, you do not know no. We don't. We say yes. We have open vats. We have 9 vats that sit there. We make 35 different types of cheese.
Oh, wow.
And We turn those vats, we make 50 vats a day. We have 3.5 million pounds of cheese going through the plant weekly.
Okay, those are some big numbers you're throwing at me there.
It is. We're in Little Reeseville. People don't always understand who we are.
Right.
And so anyway, it's been a growing thing for me, because talking on the phone with all these different ethnicities, I've learned. I don't speak any of the languages, but I can understand most of them. Many people cannot, but I can, and I can get through. And we talked about my name. Any of those people will say, if they don't understand what my name is, I said, do you know I Dream of Jeannie? Of course they know that. That's just hilarious throughout. They all know what that means. They, oh, you're Jeannie. Okay, got it.
Yeah,
and they asked me what color your hair is, and I said, well, it's blonde. So
It's okay. We won't hold that against you.
Right.
I will say, first and foremost, queso blanco. Obviously, you can't have a quesadilla without it. If you try to do it with mozzarella or something else, you're wasting your time, right?
For what you want your quesadilla for that. So that's the melting cheese you want for the quesadilla.
Oh, you have a separate one for that. Okay.
Oh,
See,
yeah,
I've always been using that.
Queso blanco shouldn't melt.
Oh, maybe I've got my heat too high. That would explain why my wife always yells at me for the tortillas.
Or too low. Queso blanco. So the claim to fame for Beaver Dam, everybody knows this for around here, is our frying cheese. And I'm not sure if you've ever had it. And I'm looking like crap. I should have brought it.
Oh. I may just have to come take a tour over there at some point in time.
Awesome.
And
You're welcome to.
So the frying cheese is really what the people in the area know. Tracy from the chamber, they do not like to do the Taste of Wisconsin without us, because we are a big key to that event. So we have four varieties. The original, we have garlic, we have pineapple mango, and we have jalapeno. So it's like a warm cheese curd without the breading. You do not need a breading. You can fry it. You can fry it on a nonstick griddle, 350 degrees, and it will not melt.
You can also put it in the air fryer. I've tried that too.
The air fryer works good. At the recent event that we were at for the chamber, well, I wouldn't say it was for the chamber, but really for the chamber, because the Pepperfest, we did. We actually made Beaver Dam pepper frying cheese. We've only made it twice now, so we make it at this time of year.
Right.
We made it, we sampled it, sold it for nonprofit, but we put Beaver Dam peppers in the frying cheese.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes.
That is absolutely awesome. I'm going to have to find a way to get my hands on that, because that sounds really good. I love cheese curds. Who doesn't in Wisconsin?
I will take care of you.
Okay.
I should have thought about
right.
it earlier, but I will take care of you.
We're on the
No
same
problem.
page. I love it. And for that reason, I'll be very nice when I say when you started there, that was the year I was born. But don't take that to mean, it just means I've been eating cheese for as long as you've been involved with cheese.
Right.
There we go.
I'm used to it. And I guess I couldn't be prouder to be in the industry I'm in the dairy in Wisconsin, manufacturing, all of that. I couldn't be more proud.
And I guess you touch on something that's kind of interesting, and we'll bring you in on this as well. But when people think manufacturing, we usually think of things like our previous guest from Apache, or we think about guests we've had on earlier, or some of the guests we're going to have on later, where they're welding stuff, they're assembling stuff, they're building things. We got to have a press brake and all this other stuff. You guys are making cheese, which we think Wisconsin, of course, cheese. You're going to make cheese, but that is a process. It is a manufacturing process.
It is.
It is totally different. Because our positions are different. I just said Pam kind of took the words out of my mouth, but that's okay.
That's okay. We love Pam anyways.
It is different manufacturing, right? So we have line workers that are packaging the cheese. We have our cheese makers that are making the cheese, the assistant cheese makers. I mean, we obviously have our warehouse workers, for shipping,
maintenance, stuff like that.
Maintenance,
right.
things like that. But, I mean, our guys go to be licensed cheese makers. Like, it's actually a thing. People ask me all the time, you can't just make cheese? And I'm like, well, you have to be a licensed cheesemaker.
Right.
So you don't always hear that. So I think that's kind of cool for some people, or even when we go out to the schools and talk about it, they say, wow, I would like to do that. That's different.
Yeah, that is different. And I think if you're from Wisconsin, it's got to be kind of cool to be like,
Right?
oh, yeah, I'm a licensed cheesemaker in the dairy state.
And a licensed cheesemaker for different kind of cheese, right? Because it's not your cheddars and your mozzarella, so it's kind of interesting.
Right. Fun story I love to tell everybody is I went to college out in California, Southern California. This was early 2000s. And when I got there, everybody was like, California, it's the cheese, it's the cheese.
Right.
They're bragging about their cheeses. And so we went to the grocery store. I said, show me your cheeses. They took me over, and there was your standard cheese section with your standard cheeses all in a row. I said, wonderful. Let's walk over to the gourmet cheeses. And every one that wasn't made in like France or Italy was made in Wisconsin. I'm like, and you're paying for really, really nice cheeses here. but you're paying for them at gourmet prices. Where I come from, I can get a giant block for that price.
Exactly.
Because that's part of being here. It's the dairy state. It's what we do, right? Let's talk a little bit more about the facility. So you guys are in Reeseville. How big of a facility are we talking? Is this a pretty large manufacturing facility? I know you said, like, what was it, 9 vats, 7 vats?
Nine vats.
Nine vats.
9 physical vats, but
Okay.
important. But they're all open vats. They're not double O's. They're all open. So the guys are in there stirring and whatever the cheese
Okay.
makers are.
So we're about 80,000 square feet, but we're expanding again.
Oh, okay.
So
We are in the old school building of Reeseville, the Reeseville Dodgeland area. So it first was a high school, went to a junior high, and we bought it. So we've renovated it. So you can still walk down the hall at our
Okay.
place, and you can see the principal's office. You can see the girls and
Right.
the boys' locker rooms, which are restrooms and locker rooms.
Right.
We purposefully left some of those things on the walls because it's people walk in, it's like, what a
Right.
good use of an old building.
Little nostalgia there.
In our warehouse is where the gym was.
I was going to say, I'm guessing biggest space in the building. Mm-hmm. So use it
And
for
then
that
we've
purpose.
added on from there, of course, the milk tanks and whatever. Right now, where the expansion is quite large. We're actually at a point now where we can't make enough for everybody.
Oh, wow.
So we're not. We really can't. When you're sales and you're in sales and marketing and customer service, it's a little tough. Tough business to be in at this point, but we're very fortunate. I can't stress enough how fortunate we are. We do not have salespeople out on the road selling. People call us.
That's awesome. So then let's talk a little bit about staffing then. So if we're expanding, if we're having demand we can't even keep up with, I'm assuming that means we're going to need more cheesemakers. We're going to need more people all across the board. What are you guys looking for?
we're actually pretty blessed to have enough staff. I will probably say that my recruiter right now is saying, you just jinxed me and we'll lose some people. But, because she always tells me when we're fully staffed, that's when we lose people. But we hire basically more line workers, more helpers. So warehouse workers, your assistant cheesemakers, things like that. We tend to keep the people that are our cheesemakers, are our managers, supervisors, things like that. Just like any other company, you have, you know, your little turnover on the smaller positions. But yeah, I think we're pretty good.
One of the blessings that we have is our rideshare program. I'm not sure if you're
Yep, the
familiar.
Get to Work.
Oh, no, I did not know about that.
Yeah, so it's called the Get to Work program. It's our rideshare program. So basically, we literally have drivers that drive for the company. They drive their own vehicles, but they actually go pick up from your home and bring you to work and then take you back home. So we go all the way to Fond du Lac, to Watertown,
They go to Juneau.
Juneau, Horicon, Beaver Dam, Columbus. I think that's about it right now. But yeah, we have a lot of people that use our rideshare program.
That's really awesome. And does this person then, when they get done picking everybody up, bringing them to work, do they then work as like an apprentice cheesemakers, or is there just that's their job?
That is their job. They're just drivers. I mean, that is how because
We have 3 shifts.
yeah, we have a lot of shifts. So our drivers are driving all the time.
Okay. Well, I imagine when you're making that much cheese, you got to have constant shifts going on. That definitely makes sense. Talk to me about benefits. What do you guys offer your employees?
So we offer your health, dental. The company pays for vision, for a life insurance policy. We offer your voluntary benefits, right? Your short-term disability, hospital indemnity, things like that. I think what helps us more is one, rideshare, right? That's one program that we really, really use. But we also offer OcuCare on site, which is basically kind of like physical therapy. And that's on site Tuesdays and Thursdays. And that's just not only for work related, but it's also for non-work related. So even if you're having muscle aches or whatever, or like most of our employees play soccer, so, they can use that program just so that they can be at work and not off of work. Because, we all know that you have to be at work and not.
Yeah, you got to work to get paid, right?
Yeah,
That's absolutely a thing.
we also bring dental clinics on site, because a lot of the times is getting to the dentist or getting to the doctor, doing things like that, you're at work or you have kids or whatever it may be. So we bring dental clinics on site. We do flu shots on site. We bring offer Dean. So they come on site and do assessments for employees that not only have Dean, but also don't have Dean. So we do a lot of things like that just to kind of help employees out.
Now, normally I would ask you some question about what you're looking forward to in the future, but we've talked about the expansion that's coming up, which is awesome. So I'm going to ask you kind of an off-the-cuff question of, what's the favorite cheese you guys make there, like for your personal favorite?
My favorite's a Cowie.
So the Cowie is actually a Middle Eastern cheese, and
Okay.
I will get you that one as well.
Okay.
So in 2023, we were the world champion. No, actually, U.S. champion. Sorry.
Okay.
For the Latin American fresh cheese category, that
Okay.
was a big deal. It is a crowded category.
I
At either
imagine.
the U.S. or the world event. I really take care of all the paperwork to get it there. We box the cheese, we get it there, whatever. When I saw that information, I can go on and look. I kept looking for the scores. I found it on like Friday morning, on a Friday morning, and I lost it. I was at home, working from home. I lost it. I got goosebumps. I started crying. I texted the boss. I said, "Get on your email now." And he goes, "Okay, okay." He gets on there. He goes, I said, "Am I reading it right?" He goes, "Oh my," and he's screaming to his
Right.
wife, "We won! We won!"
I love it. I love it.
I mean, while we already had one in the pannier, this one was a big deal. So it actually made in a little basket. It's a .90, which is less than a pound. It's
Okay.
an individual basket form that we use. Put the Cowie in there. Gets flipped many times by the cheesemakers. Goes into a brine, comes out, and it's really cute.
Okay.
Okay, but it's people love it. The whole team loves it. At first, they used to say, "A Cowie, what's a Cowie?" Well. It's a Cowie. It's Middle Eastern on the Cowie side, but it's also
Right.
Panella on the Hispanic side. We have many cheeses that go many ways.
Right.
We'll call it whatever you want, but many of them really are the same.
I was going to say,
They just
there's
have-
only so many ways you can make cheese, right?
But like, so example of any fresco or items that go down to Florida, they put. I've been down there many times. You could not, if you want to see cheese cases, that's where you need to go. Is Miami. They're huge.
Okay.
So they take fresco on labels from us, but you go down. I have one customer in Orlando. You go down and he's got probably 10 different flags on the cheese. So they're containers. They're
Right.
not sealed package. But he's got the Venezuelan, he's got the Cuban, he's got the whatever. So the flag is the key
Right.
because that's what they're going to buy. It's all the same cheese.
Right.
But those.
But you know somebody's like taking it off the sample and being like, oh, I definitely like this one better than that one. But
Well,
you know what's
luckily
going on.
Luckily, they're sealed. But the cheese cases in Florida are truly mind-boggling.
Okay. I mean, I've seen like the cheese aisle at Woodman's, and I know that's pretty, but you're saying better than that.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
Unbelievable.
I see. I'm a big fan of anybody that gets excited over cheese because I love cheese. It's one of those foods where even if I'm not hungry, I could be just completely stuffed, and you're like, but there's a cheese tray, and I'm like, well, I could pick.
The protein.
Yeah.
It's protein, it's dairy. What better in Wisconsin?
Oh
right?
yeah, absolutely. And I'm a huge fan of, and I did it for during COVID. It was my favorite thing. Working at home every day, I would do a Willet grilled cheese, and I would find a different cheese and a different thing to put in the grilled cheese just to see if I could make a grilled cheese sandwich. And I was never disappointed.
So I got one for you.
Okay.
Inside out grilled cheese sandwich. So you could take queso blanco, so you have a slice of it, then do your bread, then do
Okay.
another slice of queso blanco. The cheese is on the outside,
Interesting.
and it's not going to melt.
And then it really is grilled cheese because that's what's hitting the griddle, not the bread.
Right.
I like the way you think. I definitely like the way you think.
I will take care of you, Justin.
Okay. Now you said that was your favorite. How about you?
I think probably the frying cheese is the best. The pineapple mango or the garlic frying cheese really are my favorite. I like the fresco. I like the Cowie. We as you said earlier, we made the brick and the Munster in the early days. We don't make much of it anymore, but we're going to try to get back into that part of the business, which makes I have a passion for that part of it because in the country in the county where we are, that's what people used to buy from us. That's what the farmers used to buy. We had our own farmers. They bought that, and we don't do that much anymore. But we're going to try to get back to that. We had a guy in yesterday for the second time, and I told him he is my sunshine because I'm so excited to try to get back to making a good brick and Munster.
See, and I can't say for sure that that's where my grandfather would get. I don't know when you guys stopped making it, but I remember as a kid, my grandfather always had local brick cheese. And he would talk about, like, they only really make this in Wisconsin. It's only made right in Wisconsin. And, you know, he always got the aged brick, which was sometimes a little too much for me. I like the mild stuff.
Yep.
And, of course, I always love Munster. Munster's great. So it'd be good to know that you're getting back into that. But I personally am also a huge fan of, I guess you said it was the ethnic cheese is a good term for it. You know, you got to expand your flavor horizons, right?
Right.
And I love
How
anything.
about Tvorog? You heard of that?
I have not. It's a fun word, though. Say it again.
Tvorog.
Tvorog.
So the people
Okay.
in the plant, they don't think like that name. They make up names. They call it toad frog.
I like that too. That's great.
So, you know, you got to have fun.
Oh,
You gotta
yeah,
have fun
absolutely.
At work. So one of my workers does that. It's goes in pierogies.
Oh, okay. I love a good pierogi. Absolutely.
So actually, the Cassius brand pierogies that you see, like even in Food Pride,
Yeah.
that's our cheese inside there.
That's awesome.
So another thought for you is Amy's is a big natural food company out of California or out of Oregon. They make use our paneer in their frozen products,
Okay.
and you can buy that I think at either at Food Pride or at Walmart. So the Pollock paneer or the whatever, it's in there.
Do you guys find yourselves going through the grocery store and being like, "That's our cheese. That's our cheese. That's
You
our
know,
cheese"?
even Costco, Restaurant Depot,
Right.
those kind of things, those are the cool ones, I think, because they're so big. You know, so, yeah. And Food Pride is the only one really here in town that has the frying cheese. I don't know that they have it there, right? They have it there because I brought it last night, but I think they kind of missed ordering, so they're a little behind. But we'll get it all in there because that is the best place for me to tell people. You can come down to Reeseville, too. We have a small retail shop. It's nothing fancy.
That was going to be my next question. If you guys keep stuff on hand there.
We do, yeah. And we sell some usual months. Colby cheddar, we buy it from other places, you know, and get it in there just to have a little variety for the community to buy.
Right. I like that. I like that. I know I'm also a big fan of the spicy cheeses, and I like the fact that you said you guys have the habanero you do for the frying cheese as well. I like a little spice. I'm the only one in my household who does, but big fan of that also. Let's talk a little bit more as our time starts to get close to winding down here. Why you guys? Out of all the manufacturing options, if somebody says, "Yeah, I worked over here, and now I'm thinking maybe this is the route to go," how do you guys put yourselves out there?
I think that's more a Patty thing, but I think one of the things that we boast about is our quality.
Right.
We really,
Quality.
really, you don't have you hear of a lot of Latin American cheese companies that maybe have issues, recalls, whatnot. You have to keep it clean. You have to. Your quality's got to be there if you're going to sell these kinds of cheeses because they're just not the ordinary. It's not the Brick and the Munsters. It is sensitive, high pH cheese. There's no culture there to protect it, so you got to be clean. And our quality is really, and the owner will say to the people on the phone, if you're thinking we're going to be the low price leader, that's not us. We go in with it right away because we are not going to compete
Right.
on the paneer or the Hispanic side to be the low cost leader. You have to pay for your people and you have to pay for the quality.
I'm sensing a word here. I'm going to throw out the word. Tell me if I'm completely off base, but I'm hearing pride a lot in the product you guys are putting out there.
I think I am. I obviously am, you know, and I think a lot of people are. Those cheesemakers, they just do a tremendous job.
All
And
right.
again, we're throwing a lot at them with the different recipes we have. And again, we're not the no people. We're the yes people. We get in a little trouble once in a while, but we end up doing it. So
There you go.
those guys are amazing.
Well, Jeannie, you and I are going to be talking a lot about cheese, but we are going to have to eventually end the show. So before we do, Patty, let everybody know how they can get in touch with you if maybe they're interested in finding out more about what Specialty Cheese has to offer, as far as maybe working there at some point in time, or looking into what you guys offer as a manufacturer.
Yeah, they can always go on our website. It's www.specialcheese.com/careers for jobs. It's not specialtycheese.com, it's specialcheese.com. So just
Listening ears open,
throw in
everybody.
that right.
Yep.
Otherwise, they can always call us 920-927-3888. We have a wonderful receptionist that always answers the phone, and she would transfer you wherever you need to go, just in case if it's customer service, if it's HR, things like that. So that's the way to get a hold of us.
Wonderful. Well, I want to thank you both for coming on and taking the time today. For those of you listening and those of you watching on Daily Dodge TV, this is Jeannie Korth and Patty Sanchez-Walker. Make sure I got those right.
Yep.
Perfect. With Specialty Cheese Company. We previously had on Pam Korth with Apache Stainless Equipment, highlighting two of our local area manufacturers here for our Spotlight on Manufacturing Month. Thank you, ladies, so much for coming in to see us.
Thanks for having us. Thank you so much.
The preceding, was a paid program. The advice and opinions expressed during that program are that of Apache Stainless and Specialty Cheese Company, not necessarily WBEV or Good Karma Brands.